I see the big train coming, rolling down the bend, running through the rivers, the valleys, and the glen.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Oh, John, look at this.
Kaz, how are you, my friend?
Good. Hey, is that you? It is.
It's us on that TV over there.
Yeah, this is Councilman Kaz Kotowski and...
good Kaz's good friend, John Steiner. How is everybody doing today?
Well, I think we had our scare last night, so...
I know Kaz and I were at an event, and he got a call from home. He had to run out of there. The missus needed some protection.
Yeah, she doesn't like the... She'd been through one time, but...
She was through a tornado before?
Yeah.
That's not good.
Ew. That's why, my heart goes out to some of our citizens today who...
yeah.
It's a real mess around the east side and even the west side.
Right. Well, with all that water coming down at once... I mean, you and I, we were inside.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew it was raining.
When I drove home, and right, man, I said, I felt like I was hydroplaning,
Right. Well, fortunately, I live by where we were at, and I just thought, it's raining, lightning, thunder, but I didn't realize it was like that.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was.
Looks like we got a call.
Let's see what they have to say.
Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I finally got in today. Last week I couldn't get in because everybody kept talking too long.
Where? You mean the last show?
Last show.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to have to, if we start getting successful again, we're going to cut back a little bit. I'm going to watch the clock.
Okay. I got a flyer from the VA a couple of weeks ago, and they plan on putting a traffic light on 38th Street someplace.
Ooh, let me think now. I know, you mean a new one?
Yeah.
I would guess I can tell you where I think it's going to be. They haven't approached council yet, but I can talk to the engineer. I'm willing to bet it's probably the entrance to the VA, that one that's right off of State Street, like.
Oh, that's kind of close to State Street.
Because you know where the main entrance is now, right?
Yeah.
I'm betting that's where. Is there a light there now? I don't think there is there?
So that would be between State and Old French.
Probably on the other side, Old French Road. I mean, not Old French, but
whatever, where
French
Jefferson
Street
is, yeah.
I just went by there today, and they got the whole front area dug up from the driveway all the way down to that road by Jefferson there.
Yeah, I don't think they ever had a light, did they?
No.
I know they have trouble when people are coming out of there. You weren't supposed to be able to turn left. No, I think it was left. Mm-hmm. But people were doing it anyway, so I think they decided that. And they're also, Councilman Mirsky and I have been working on the four-way left-hand turns on 38th and Pine, and we also had one authorized for 38th and Old French Road, because that's what between the VA and the people coming in. They needed one there too, so that's probably part of it.
Yeah, I don't know about putting a light rate. I mean, you stop at State. That's not even a quarter mile away.
The trouble is, though, do you live up by there, sir? Obviously you do, right?
Yes, I do.
You know how heavy it gets when they let out their employees, right?
Yep, I go to the VA just about every week.
And I think the traffic's pretty heavy there at times, right?
Yep.
They almost have to put a light, John.
They took the sign down that you weren't turned to left.
Yeah, that's what I remember. You were the one I think called me about that. So I took a ride up there to look at it one day. It's getting hit, and they're putting more stuff in there too now. So
right. Well, they're doing a lot of construction. I mean, I ride by there. I'm like, wow, they're not playing around over here.
Yep.
So yeah, it's definitely growing.
You go to the hospital too, sir, right?
One other comment.
Yes.
Better keep your fingers crossed on the Upper East Side, because Nunzies is for sale.
Who is?
Really?
Nunzies.
We were just there Saturday night.
Nunzies. I asked them straight out about that rumor, and at the time they said they weren't selling, but they were willing to sell to, I think, one of the family members was what I heard,
Really?
Or one of the workers. So I'm hoping you go there, right, sir?
They do.
Yeah, I'm hoping they don't change or.
Do they have a for sale sign outside, or is it kind of like?
They didn't before. I don't know if they do.
Yeah, I was just there Saturday night, and we didn't. I mean, we ride by there a lot.
The last time I asked my waitress, I was up there, and the wife and I go up there a couple times a month, and she said the rumor was, what they heard was that somebody inside the place was going to buy it,
Okay.
and pretty much keep it the same way. But the way this gentleman's talking, I hope that's
Well,
it's not somebody from the outside and it changes.
I mean, I wonder why. I mean, I was in there Saturday night in a place. I mean, this was like 7:30. We went for later. It was packed.
I think people just get tired, though.
Yeah, but there's really not much on the east side like that.
No.
You know, we can't. We got to have that type of stuff on the east side.
Nunzi's is one of the best kept secrets.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that would be.
I always bring back 2 meals from there. The one I can't eat.
You got your little midnight snack, your little take-home midnight snack.
Yeah, they give you so much there. I mean,
You're right. You're right about that. They do. They don't play around with their.
I get the lasagna once in a while, and it's so big that
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah, right. You get enough to feed the dog when you get home.
We always get their pizzas from there. We think it's the best pizza.
I'll ask around a little bit and see if I can find
Yeah,
out
that's the
anything
first
more.
I've heard of that.
Well, I knew they were thinking. Well, the rumors started way back,
Yeah.
and the girl said, well, although they weren't actively pursuing it, they were quietly thinking about retiring. So,
Oh, were they?
yeah. So there was somebody that was going to. They thought somebody inside was going to get it, either a family member or.
You should buy it, Kaz. Kazies, we'll call it. Then.
Not at my age. Right now. No, I don't think you change the name. You keep it.
No, you keep the name. It's synonymous.
I know the reason why, but I don't want to say it over the air.
Maybe you and I can talk sometime. They used to have the other place, remember, further down the road?
I don't know why they ever moved out of there. It was bigger.
Yeah, it was, but I think, that I can't talk on the air either.
What place was
I heard a rumor about that.
What pl-
It's where the Laker Inn used to be.
Oh, the Laker Inn, yeah. Oh, that's
That was the old Nunzies. They expand, like this gentleman said.
okay.
They used to have the best antipasto in town, and then they made it bigger, and
The Laker Inn. Wow, that brings back a lot of memories.
then it was Panos for a while, remember?
Right. Is that where Pizza Hut is now? Or what's there now? Is it the,
Pizza place, I think.
is it?
It's either Family Video or was it,
Oh, okay, yeah, it's right in that area. They've changed.
or was
over
it
there.
Marco's? I can't remember, but
No, Marcos is down further.
it must be the Family Video then, right?
So are they finally done with the 38th Street Road construction?
Well, once they get the lights hooked up,
Yeah, they were working on
because
that.
we're getting left-hand turn signals.
You know, it was so screwed up. They had to open a field office over there. They opened up an office in the Burton Plaza.
Really?
Yeah. Just to make sure that they got it right. Cause,
I'll check on those things for a dose.
Yeah.
Okay, sir?
Northwest corner of 38th and East Avenue still isn't cemented yet.
right? Yeah, the wheelchair access.
Yeah,
the
there's
walk-
still some work to be done at 38th.
Oh yeah, they're not done. That's we talked about the last time I was here.
He's right. That's right at the other side of Marion's barbershop.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's exactly right. That they're not even close to being done with that.
Okay, I'll let somebody else.
Hey, do you go to the VA hospital, you said? Sir?
Yes.
You do? Hey, God bless you if you're a veteran.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Maybe you can join us in the parade. I
could never walk.
I'll carry you.
Oh, yeah, you want
Kaz will
that?
give you a piggy.
What were you, Army or Navy? Or something else?
My 5th Division.
Ah. Yeah, I was with I was in the artillery in the Army. It was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, I was in Korea.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Thank you. Have
Thanks
a
for your
good day.
service.
We have a lot of friends that were in the Korean War.
Hey, did you, I haven't been here for a while. I know you guys were talking about a traffic study on by Circle K there on 30.
Yeah, I got to check, see what happened to
We
that.
got to talk about that.
Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon.
Johnny,
How are you?
Super. Hey, I have one question for you, Kaz.
just one?
Well, I got a couple, but this is primarily one for you.
Okay.
There's a candidate out there saying that he helped the city get out of Act 47, and when he left, there was a $5 million surplus. So where is this $5 million surplus?
I wish I knew. That's a lot of money. I mean, I wish we had.
In other words, it's political garbage.
Well, there's a lot of rhetoric being tossed around. And I don't want to pick on anybody that's doing it, but
I understand.
I have an old saying. If you're going to take credit for the good things you do,
Take charge for the bad.
yeah, I mean, I heard somebody say, well, this happened on somebody's watch. Well, does that mean now when you get elected, if you do, then if something bad happens on your watch, you're not gonna play the blame game. You're gonna.
The watch is the last guy.
Well, see, that's with the election cycle, that seems to be the strategy. Everybody,
That's the garbage.
Yeah, I mean, you hear one guy go, well, this went out of town, that went out of town. Everybody's there at the ribbon cutting, but you don't see one guy standing with Scott Slauson when G left.
Yeah, right.
You didn't see one candidate or one politician in office stand with him and say, this happened on my watch, I take blame. You won't see that.
Yeah, that's the way that one party just portrays everything as bad. I haven't heard one good idea of what they want to do differently. All I hear is bad, all negative, this. But it's like, what are you going to do to change it?
I made a comment that the next 20 years is going to be key to the city and the county of Erie. Okay? Yeah. That's the projected plan of this comprehensive plan. But even just looking back, the things that have happened in the city, the county's at negative growth.
Right.
Or stagnant, depending on what year you look at.
Right.
We're not in the, we got to start doing some novel things.
Well, back in the, a few years ago, they were going to try to do the Erie Mill Creek joint study.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Mill Creek said no. But honestly, as far as money goes, Mill Creek's in trouble.
Well, Eve, we're all in trouble around here.
No, their taxes aren't, they point at ours.
Yeah.
But now it's coming. They're going to need a fire department. It's coming. That's a big cost. And yesterday you thought Erie was underwater. I guarantee you they were floating canoes in Mill Creek. Their entire sewer system structure is a complete disaster.
Hey, John, you've been around a long time, right?
Well, I guess so.
No, I mean, you know what I'm talking about when they say, we've gone through all these changes and things didn't get bad overnight, and they're not going to, so we have to start right now today.
Bad.
And we have to start today and say, we have to start realistically treating the businesses we have in town good and well, helping them stay established, and then seek out reasonable businesses that we can go after,
Well, we went bad when we got so many nonprofits.
Yeah, but you know what? Then this is the problem in the Commonwealth. We can't change that. We can complain. We can challenge them in court. But the way they have the law written now, it's easy to get it's easy to get tax exempt status.
It's the location of the nonprofit properties that are out there.
They're all in the city.
And they're right on our most.
They're all on choice property.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the key right there. I've been saying that. Why are we putting non-tax on our most taxable property? That's suicide.
And that goes back to, nobody thinks what they do today has an effect on tomorrow.
That goes all the way back to Sweet Lou.
It does. And, nobody back then, when everything was, I can remember, when everything was going good. Then you remember those days, right, John?
Sure. You could go down 12th Street and get 5 jobs in one day.
And we had 130-some thousand people in the city.
Close to 140.
Yeah, we were growing. We were growing, actually. All the new things came here.
But then when they put that walkway or whatever, that
Transitway Mall
down there, everything went to Mill Creek.
Right. And then...
Wasn't that a Lou Tullio decision?
Yeah.
That was to keep the workers' union happy down there.
That was a Nicolay Mall concept out of Minnesota.
Yeah. I was young back then. I didn't,
If you go to Minneapolis today, they have that concept. But they have sky bridges that keep you out of the cold. And they're connected to department stores and federal buildings and structures.
Right.
And
well, let's get to the good stuff.
Oh, that wasn't the good one? Okay, let's go. I'm ready.
I'm glad to see that this crew from Ohio finally got the walking signs right over 38th Street. They have the red flashing white light when you're to go and the red flashing when you're to stop. I've been talking to you for about 5 years about that.
Yeah.
But now it's in sync.
They probably just replaced all that stuff, didn't they?
No, well, they put all new traffic controls and new things, and the lights are working accordingly. But still, if I was a new parent growing up, I'd have my kids still watching the cars.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely.
What I like, John, is that this last round, and I want to give credit to Bob Mursky too, because we hammered the traffic engineer, and we talked to PennDOT that when they did this, and we were told it was coming in a few years, that that we do some things like the left-hand turn lanes and getting everything back to shape. But I'm kind of pleased what they did, aren't you? A little bit.
Well, I am, but it costs a lot of money.
Well, yeah, that's and like this gentleman before you called and talking about the VA hospital, And that was a problem. I mean, when you looked at the VA exit there, the traffic backup, the danger of people taking shots coming out of there to try to.
Yeah, but you got to realize they should put a high traffic, high accident area sign up, and these people flying over 38th Street have to start using their mind instead of their gas pedal.
Well, I watched a guy the other day. I was going to the breakfast place in the morning, and the lights were flashing at Connell School. Now, no kids were there, but you know yourself, John. They got a what do you call it? A comfort zone of time there that.
Right. It's 9. I think it goes off at 9 o'clock.
Right. So I mean, this guy flew by me at 40 miles an hour. You know, and I'm going. You know, you're in a school zone. And if you can't see those flashing signs, something's wrong, you know.
I know one thing they do. The police set up a sting right there when you come over, when you're heading.
Set up a traffic check up through there.
Yeah, right by St. Luke's is where they pull you in and give you the ticket.
St. Luke's and up.
Yeah, I know people would be mad about this, but I see nothing wrong in selected areas. And right now we can't do it, I think, in the Commonwealth. But other states, they have these. When I go to play games in Cleveland, they'll tell you got
a camera.
Yep, and there's nothing wrong with that in certain areas where we can't have a man all the time.
But you can't do it in Philadelphia.
Why?
Because they screw it up so bad.
Yeah.
Well, they do it in Massachusetts. I think is a state that has it.
That'll slow people down, you know.
Yeah.
Massachusetts up that way, the rule is on the 95. You get your fender out, you got the right of way.
It's crazy up there. But that's how they pay tolls, I think.
I do want to thank the sewer crew. They were finally up this way and cleaned out the sewer just in time.
I wanted to throw it out there this morning. I was watching, our trucks are all over, I'm sure they're on the west side too, but I caught them at 37th and Pine, all those areas last night. They're pumping out like mad.
Yeah, they were working hard. I mean, you got to give them credit on that. They were out there working.
Here, we still got to get a crew out there to clean those leaves off those manholes.
Yeah, I'll talk to. I know the gentleman's in charge.
And that's a major thing. But other than that, I think we're going to come along, and I'm going to get out and I'm going to vote multiple times tomorrow because I'm an Italian and we're allowed to vote more than once.
Yeah, you got little Chicago roots in you, right?
Yeah, our buddy from Cicero. What's his name?
You mean the mobster?
What's his name? Daly.
Oh, there you go.
He was Irish, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
But other than that, I hope everybody does get out. Like I say, vote often tomorrow. And vote for the person of your choice. Don't listen to polls. After all, polls do not vote. Have a great afternoon.
See you, John.
You know, he's right, though. Everybody has to get out to vote tomorrow.
Yeah, it's sad when the numbers get as low as they do.
I mean, in a primary, we had, 25, was it 25%, I think it was? I mean, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. I mean, what are people thinking out there? I mean, you got to educate yourself on who you're voting for, why you're voting for. And we saw some of the candidates talk last night. Trust me, people. Educate yourself who you're voting for.
Well, that's why I don't like, as a rule, I don't like advertising.
Yeah.
I would rather have, the newspapers and media wouldn't go along with this.
The newspaper, they don't like you and Winarski too much.
No, that's because I tell the truth.
Yeah,
That's okay.
Yeah, they don't like you guys too much. But they do like one of their own. What's her name? She's gonna be on the front page of every day.
Well, I chastise them when, they can change their opinion every 5 minutes.
You guys with her on council, anytime you're in caucus, anytime you're in a study session.
Well, we can't talk about that on here now.
Talk about what?
Well, it might get politics. We'll get in trouble.
No, I'm just going to say you're going to be in the newspaper all the time.
Oh yeah, and you know what? They got their game, and I answer to the people anyway. I don't worry about them,
Yeah.
Whether they endorse me or not. I mean, it's great that they did, but
usually the newspaper, they're kind of the last people to know about anything, what's going on. Then they only know half the story. They got to try to make, it looks like a magazine now. It doesn't even look like a newspaper anymore. It's so small, but it's.
But I wanted to thank all of our workers who were out there today, though. They were.
Yeah. Did you go to the rally? There was a rally.
A little bit, but I was a little late because I came back from. I was in the area of Florida Street,
I know, that's so sad.
Yeah, it was. I could not believe, I saw how high the water was, and I'm going, that problem's been going on for a number of years.
Well, they were saying, the lady on the news said he had been complaining for a long time, but I mean, that's
Well, that goes back to
Mother Nature, you know. It's, I mean,
well,
how do you?
The problem is there are things that, you know, the development that's happening
Up at Mercyhurst. I mean, come on. I mean,
and south of there. That's all.
Yeah, but it's mostly Mercyhurst because it rolls downhill right there. And the more they blacktop, the more they're building something else up there right now.
Yeah, they're building that new dorm.
The more they blacktop, I mean, is there? I mean, I don't know. Is there code or regulations where they have to improve their sewer systems?
Nowadays there are rules. They were passed on the state level. They affect more communities out in the suburbs than it does here. Because of development on the suburbs, they're starting to look at things like what they call groundwater management.
Mm-hmm. Like retention basins?
Yep, and all that stuff. It's even in the city, technically, you're not supposed to like pave your front lawn. We don't charge, but the engineer has to come out and make a determination whether, you know, that, you know, what do you call it, screws up the absorption rate, you know, because every time you you're right, every time you develop or blacktop something, yeah, and you have less, what I call woodsy ground, yeah, you know, backyards.
Well, there's no, that's why
there's no sponge.
That's why Mill Creek, every time it rains, you got to get your canoe out. I mean, they're pipes, they're not uniform.
Not only that, you know, because of I noticed even in the city, I don't want to say where, but back in the golden days when we were building like mad and the town was growing, a lot of things were done haphazard.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't looked at from a, you know, what's going to be like in 40. We never think about what's going to happen. Nobody probably could have projected Summit developing in Mill Creek,
yeah, right,
like they have. So because of that, you got all this water rushing down into a system, mm-hmm, that was designed back in the 20s and 30s.
Right.
That was projected for a city of 100-some thousand.
Well, I mean, that's one thing that Joyce did when she was the mayor. We upgraded all the sewers.
Well, yeah, what they had them clean too, remember?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think they projected Erie at one time to be like 150, 160,000 people. They thought, you know, mm-hmm, so when they designed it, that was their thought process. But if you look at it now, if you take the 99 to 100,000 people in the city, you add the 55,000 or so that's in Mill Creek, you add Summit and Harbor Creek to that, you know, mm-hmm, and all of a sudden you figure out this is a lot more than they projected, mm-hmm, you know, yeah, and that's what you get into. But, you know, it's not, what do you call it, it's not pretty when you talk about infrastructure.
No.
I mean, everybody likes to be at a ribbon cutting when they're open up the brand new Wegmans or something, but you don't want to be there when they're putting the sewer line in, right?
And when it comes to infrastructure, you're talking big dollars.
But you know what? We're in trouble over the whole country. Yeah. Because a lot of our country, you know, the infrastructure has been ignored.
Right.
You know, now we're back to, you know, trying to correct those problems.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller. Yeah, I know who this is.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, did you ever went over to the Y and talk to that lady over there?
We haven't hooked up yet because we've been busy. I think right after my presidency's done, I'm going to walk over there.
Yeah.
I'll take you with me, though.
You want to take me with you?
Oh, yeah, I heard a lot of stuff about you around town.
Yeah.
They people like you, they fear you, though. Because you tell the truth, though, so I'll take you over there, Paul, you know.
Yeah,
I think they need to hear it from somebody else's standpoint.
But see, the thing is...
They told me, was it you or they told me that they were going to do something because they're doing some kind of renovation?
Yeah, they were doing some renovation, and they got the funds for it.
Well, they're going to be coming into council in a short time.
Yeah.
Because we're going to, you know, we'll be going over CDBG funding. And when I go to the meetings, we can bring that up to them.
Yeah.
But I think, who's over there? Tammy Roche now? I think.
I don't know, because I don't go over there.
Yeah, I have to call her and set up one with you and I. We'll meet her somewhere, you know.
Yeah, because I don't want to leave my chair outside.
No, I don't want you to either, but.
Yeah, because they'll walk right off with it.
I met somebody that knows you real well, and she was telling me, one of your lady friends. I didn't know you're that kind of guy, though, but.
Player?
Yeah.
Paul's got a lot of lady friends. I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
They all like him, and they said he's a great guy. And I said, well, he tells the truth when I talk to him.
Yeah. And I talked to one of the mechanics at the bus station.
Yeah.
Because they're building their bus garage.
Right.
And I said, hey, they're going to build a grocery store over here. And he said he heard that they were going to put a sheets in there.
I never heard that one. What we heard, we had Mr. Tan. That's the head of it.
Yeah.
And we also had Mr. Johnny Buchna from Downtown Improvement.
Yeah.
And he's addressed council, and he's been on my show here too.
Yeah.
And every time we brought it up, that never came up. What did come up was they did make their idea ranges around two possibilities.
Yeah.
One would be a single owner grocery store, or the other concept was like a small farmers market type arrangement.
Yeah.
And so that's the two I heard. I never heard sheets. But if they put a sheets in, they almost would have to put gas in, Paul.
Yeah, they would have to put. Gas and diesel fuel in there.
And maybe.
Where?
Well, when they're building a new garage, it goes from Parade Street all the way to French.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're in phase 2 right now. They're right around where Division Street was.
Yeah.
Then what they're going to do, the third phase, is they come out to Peach Street. I mean, not Peach, they come out to French, where the present garage is now.
Yeah.
But if you go back there, they're building a parking ramp. It's going to be, I think, a 2 or 3 levels parking ramp. One level will be for the general public. They'll have some extra spaces. So if you go to Juniors or something.
So they're
going to put a grocery component. There's a retail portion they built into the ramp.
So that's what the downtown grocery. I thought that that group that was working downtown was.
Yeah,
working
that
on
would be nice.
Well,
Grocery store in there, though.
yeah, they're working on that concept, but they didn't say they wouldn't build another one too. There's also the GAF plan, which says they want to put a farmer's market in there.
Right.
Down there. So I guess it's not a bad idea because people like Paul who live downtown really have no place to go, right, Paul?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, if we instead of going all the way to the grocery store.
Where do you go now, Paul? Where's most of the people in your apartment go?
Well, they go to Giant Eagle over there on Yorktown.
Do they bus you out there, Paul?
Yeah, you can get a free bus ride.
Ah, okay. That's nice, but if you had one where you could walk to even, or just with
Ride my chair too, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. What we did here is they're going to have to keep it lighted though, and properly secured.
Well, I thought one of the grocery stores, the group that they're putting together down here.
Yeah, they may do that too.
I thought that was one of their things to do. I mean, because when they did the studies, a grocery store and a drugstore are two things that.
But the thing is, the EMTA come up with they're going to have a retail component. And they thought, a grocery store might be nice, but
So they're going to have a profit on a non-profit type of situation up
Yeah,
there?
but
that's a good question.
walking next to the Rite Aid drugstore there, and an empty building there.
Yeah.
They told me they had a grocery store in there, and people were stealing stuff out of there.
Where was that, Paul? Where'd you say that was?
Next to the, you know where the Rite Aid drugstore is?
Yeah.
And then there used to be the Salvation Army in there.
Yeah, I don't remember a grocery store, but you might be right. It was a little convenience store, I thought, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. I don't remember if it was the grocery store, but I remember they sold furniture, couches in there.
Yeah. Well, we used to remember in the old days we had the one next to the Boston store,
Yeah,
and then you had State Street Food Market for a while. Remember?
yeah.
And we had 2 downtown. And after that, it's kind of bad because you do have people, especially today. If you're talking about, you got people who are living in Lovell, and you want to put people into the one across from Juniors, the Mercantile Building.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about maybe housing downtown, in the future.
Yeah.
Even as far down as the waterfront,
Right.
you're going to have to provide something. The far-fetched plan that would have worked out nice was when they were opening up the Modern Tool. That was their plan. I remember they got so far as to have little bakeries and boots in there,
Right.
but it never took off.
The modern tool would be,
Yeah.
the ideal place, but it's all offices now. And
Yeah, at the old days, they had all geared up that way.
yeah, I mean, if they could
You know
put
what I'd
something
like to
down
see?
there.
To come back in the downtown,
What's that?
another El Press.
Yeah, that'd be interesting because they had last ones that turned into Great Northern or something. And
Yeah.
the police used to buy their stuff there, and then that left.
I wish we could get a movie theater back down here.
I was thinking the movie theater too, but you know what the problem is? Movies are going down quick all over the place. But if you could talk somebody into building one, even an independent one, I'll tell you who had one. You want to hear something? Paul, you listening to this?
Yes.
I met Magic Johnson a number of years ago when I was on school board. And we didn't have a Starbucks at that time in the whole city. And he was speaking about how he had this program for minority ownership. Mm-hmm. And he said, you know, he had a fund set up that if somebody wanted to open up a small business, and at that time he was affiliated with Starbucks and a movie chain. And he said no one from Erie ever called him.
Yeah.
And I think Mayor Savacchio at the time, we talked, and I said, you know, that sounds, and I wasn't even I was on the school board, but
Right.
I said, that sounds like a nice plan to have, you know, the catch would have been the Starbucks would have had to have been in an area that was a little bit minority occupied to make it work for them.
Right.
But think of having a movie theater like on 18th Street again or someplace, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the projectors themselves cost about $150K.
Yeah, you know, I know you're relative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you could pull it off and have maybe, you know, do some specialty films, stuff you don't normally see, you know, it would be nice.
And another thing I mentioned too, I mentioned it to the bus company about putting a bus shelter out at that West Side Walmart off of Route 20.
Oh, okay.
There's no bus shelter out there, and they said they can't just put it there. The owner has to put the owner of that property has to okayed it for them to put one there.
And they probably have to deal with Mill Creek too, right?
I don't know.
Isn't that out in Mill Creek, if I remember right?
Yeah, it is. It's because the one they closed down on Asbury, they moved out a little further.
Yep. How do you feel about the buses on French Street? Would you rather have them back on State Street?
Yeah, people say they'd rather have it back on State Street.
Now, maybe we can make it happen. Who knows?
Yeah,
I tell you, I would have never voted to move them, I'll tell you that.
yeah.
Well, that had its pros and cons.
Yeah. But I think there's more cons when I think about it.
I mean, yeah, but that's a tough topic.
You ever been on French Street when you got
I've drove by there.
the theater there, the buses and everything?
Yeah, I've driven by there, and you know, it's a tough topic, Cass. It really is. But I understand, you know, if you're a handicapped and they, you know, you
Maybe if we put transit police on there.
Yeah, but that's, you know.
What?
Well, I'll leave you go.
Okay, Paul. Hey, we'll get together and we'll take a ride. You and I. Well, I'll have to walk and you'll ride though.
Yeah.
You got that motorized wheelchair, right?
Yeah, I have a battery electric wheelchair.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find you, Paul. You haven't got a ticket yet, have you? Should we give you a ticket or not?
Yeah.
All right, thanks for calling.
See you, Paul.
Hey,
He calls up all the time. He's a good guy, though.
Yeah, I recognize his voice. The traffic study, was it 36? Is it?
There was two of them. That was one of them.
What's going on? What is being proposed for that?
Well, just in general, I had some people call me. That's the one by the Circle K.
Yeah.
If you frequent that area,
Which I do.
it can be a real,
It's a death trap.
yeah.
It's a death trap.
And that's a state highway, so they have to do it.
Oh, Route 8, right?
Yeah. So I talked to Leanne, and council passed a resolution. I'm going to have to double check. I've given her some time to do. Can you hold the thought?
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
I just thought of a question.
Yeah.
What do you have to do to rename a street? Isn't there an involvement with businesses, residents?
We don't change a street name. What we do is we never change one, Paul. John. We don't change it physically because there are issues with the post office And then, all the businesses would have to change their mail and their headings. You follow me?
Yeah, I follow you.
So all we do is it's an honorary title. What we do, whenever we do a street dedication, like say we did one, say we made Page Street, John Lecce Way. All we would do is put another marker above it, but it still stays as Page Street.
In other words, it's just throwing an additional food, just like Canavino Way up there.
Yeah, or right around City Hall, you have Mario Bagnoni Way.
You make it a way and not a street.
Yeah, the only one they ever changed physically was when they built the baseball park. You remember that?
Yeah.
They closed, let's see, what was it? 9th Street, correct?
Yeah, they called it Canavino Way.
No, they made it A.J. Uwe Way.
Oh, okay.
What they did was they took when they shut, it was 9th Street, I'm thinking. Yeah, 9th Street. They shut it off. That's where the outfield connected to the arena. Well, the walkway was supposed to be open to the public when there wasn't baseball in there. So they had a walkway that they had gates on. But the actual street closed except for the small portion that went from French heading east and terminated at the ballpark and just went into the park.
Where that little
underground parking ramp was.
Yeah.
So they named that officially A.J. Uwe Way, but there were no businesses with addresses on there.
Who was A.J. Uwe?
You talk about
He was
that.
a conductor.
You know what I found the other day?
Pardon?
I found the key to the city.
You did? Where?
Woodland. And then guess whose name was on it?
Gardner?
Canavino.
Wow. They mean councilman gave it out?
I don't know how I got it. Maybe Mike gave it to me.
It must have been councilman that gave them out.
Could be. But it says Canavino.
Try it today. The locks don't work.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, and I have an old plaque here from Penelec when there was 100 years.
Yeah.
1988 when they were in partnership with the City Hall and all that. I found an old plaque.
Hey, you'll laugh, but I had just got on council, and they had taken and painted the downstairs here at City Hall. And there was you remember the Mike Canavino plaque?
Yeah.
Well, it disappeared. Well, what they did was they put it in storage, and somebody forgot where they put it. I forgot about it. Everybody did.
Fallen.
And then I get a call from a couple of people, connected with the Canavino family.
Yeah.
We did a little search and we found it, but he still remembered, even though a lot of kids don't know him,
Oh, yeah. I remember every time I saw him, he used to say, "Hey, kid, what do you say?"
Didn't he carry peanuts in his pocket?
He carried peanuts like back then. He carried dum-dums.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get off.
Hey, see you, John. So, the study, all I said in general was, would you look at it and see if you can make some changes to make it safer? Yeah. Because you basically got, what is it?
Six intersections.
Yeah, 3 streets,
1, 2,
but
3,
the way to
4, 5, 6. 6 different directions coming into one intersection.
Yeah, it's a mess.
It's a mess. And it's hard to see with the buildings in the way, and if a car goes to turn.
Yeah, I stay away from there.
I'm just curious to wonder how many accidents they do have there.
A lot of times, they always use that as a barometer. I say, look, even though there haven't been a lot of accidents at East 38th and Glenwood Park, where the road narrows.
Right.
That's because people are very careful and lucky.
Yeah, right.
But that doesn't mean it's okay.
Right.
Accidents alone shouldn't be the barometer. Just like when they studied the 38th and Pine interchange, they told Councilman Mirsky and I, well, there wasn't enough traffic on there. I said, when did you do the study? We did it in the summer. I said, no.
Yeah, right.
Do it in the fall when the kids are here from school.
Right.
That's your highest impact, Yeah,
I mean, when I saw that on the news that you had brought.
There was that
up.
one. I did another one. I don't know why it escaped.
Was the west? Wasn't it on the west side somewhere?
Might have been. It was people calling us up about legitimate.
I mean,
when
I
you
was
drive,
glad. I was like, that's good because, I mean, like a roundabout even. A lot of people don't like roundabouts, but I like them. I mean, you don't even have to have like.
I like simple ones.
Yeah.
But you got to get used to them. But it plays havoc with your GPS.
Well, if you don't know where it's Route 8. I mean, but if you can't figure out you yield into a circle.
The problem is though, John.
You have a problem. You shouldn't be driving.
Well, wait a minute. Then I shouldn't be driving because you ever been?
You can handle a yield.
Yeah, but not out of town when you don't know it.
Yeah.
I was in Philadelphia the other night. One night, right?
Yeah.
Dark night. Okay?
Yeah.
Never been to Philadelphia.
Okay.
It's nighttime. It's not daytime.
Right.
My GPS is like going nuts. because they don't adapt well to them.
Right.
And you're trying to read the signs, and you got people who know what they're doing.
Right.
And they're riding your bumper. In Philadelphia, we were talking about.
Right.
And you get the feeling you're going to go around in a circle until you don't have time to figure out.
I agree.
Because they had, unlike the one in Waterford, this was a 2-lane one.
Right.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, they can be a nightmare, okay?
Yeah, but people like it now, from what nobody likes change at first.
No, the thing is, though, if you do it, it's okay for people who live in the city.
Yeah.
Or the town where you do it.
Right.
But you also got to say, what's the effect on people that...
Well, the people that would come into that route, if there was one there, it's Route 8. I mean, it's not like there's intersecting highways or routes, or it's, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be that hard.
But there is an education, part of it you have to do.
Oh, is there?
Well, I mean, when you deal with, like up in our side of town, you got college kids that maybe haven't been,
I mean, it's not that hard, though.
Well, no, it's okay once you. I always laugh. I tell people, driving D.C. is not bad. Washington, if you do it at night, okay?
Yeah, in the middle of the night.
When you got time when nobody's riding your bumper.
That's usually when we roll in there.
When you're in Chicago or someplace, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of the afternoon.
You can't. It's a whole nother world.
Yeah, and they're yelling at you because, hey, honking on the horns.
I mean, but something needs to be done in that intersection. I mean, it is.
Which one? That one. Yeah. That's probably a candidate for that, okay?
I mean, honestly, I would, instead of a light, I would rather have a roundabout there. Because it's like, you wouldn't even have to, it's already spaced, there's enough, in order to put one there, it wouldn't take any.
But that's probably a candidate where I would agree with you.
Yeah.
But when you design one, you got to make sure you keep them simple. I always like to say keep them simple.
You don't want to.
When you get multiple lanes, one like they got in downtown Philadelphia, you go, oh my God.
Erie, we don't like change. I mean, we don't like paying a quarter. We don't like paying for parking, and we don't like anything.
Well, think about this. You go to a game in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, any town, but Cleveland's a perfect example.
Right.
Come out of the football stadium.
Yeah.
And you're driving down Lakeshore.
Yeah.
You're driving, I'm trying to think what
Marginal Road is it?
The Marginal Road, but they won't let you enter the highway until you go about 1.5 miles down the road.
Right.
They do that because of the heavy traffic.
Right.
But, you got all these lights that say no left turn, no left turn.
Yeah.
Or if you're in D.C. crossing the bridge, right, or the Arlington Bridge.
Right.
6 or 8 lanes. In the morning, it's 6 coming in, 2 going out.
Yeah.
Erie people couldn't adapt to it. Like even in Pittsburgh, you have the ones where they change the direction of the lane.
Pittsburgh is a nightmare to drive.
They change the direction of the lane, right?
Yeah.
Getting people out of town or in town.
Yeah.
We would not. I still laugh at you go up by the mall, or you go on State Street. You got the 2 left-hand turn lanes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You still have the people that are, I call the drifters.
Yeah. Right, but I mean that's.
People don't adapt to change well.
They don't. They don't even want to talk about it.
I mean, that's a simple thing, like 2 left-hand turn lanes, right?
Right.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
All the way until you clear.
Right. But that intersection is bad.
It is.
And another one that is the worst of them all.
What's that?
12th and Green Garden.
Huh?
12th and Green Garden.
You're probably right.
That's the death intersection. There's more crosses. When people pass, they put crosses. I mean, every single time, every single year, people die at that intersection, and it's because you're coming from with speed over 12, and then when you're coming down Green Garden, you can't really see. You can't. With the way the land slopes and where Lord's was, you can't see. So you're not even cautiously thinking that you can't see headlights. You can't see it out of the corner of your eye. And if it's icy,
all of a sudden you're there.
I mean, you don't even know that. You don't even see the headlights coming.
I remember what complicates the one where we were talking about before by Circle K. Mm. You look at Pine Avenue, you're not quite sure if it's a 2-lane road or a 1-lane road heading south.
You're right. Right by the tire station.
So you get people really firing up the speed.
Yeah.
And
it's a track. It's a racetrack. Go north to south or
I know what the other intersection was. A guy called me and just got hit that day. The day before? The underpass at 19th and Parade.
That's bad too.
So I said
this way.
We're heading north.
Well, you're heading this way. What? Where?
Well, you know
Parade.
when you come down Parade Street,
Oh,
right?
Parade. I'm thinking going up French.
Yeah,
That's bad too.
that bad is too.
17th and French.
And what's going to complicate the 19th Street Bridge at Parade is you're going to now have the buses when they open up that. You see now they got that all set for when the buses use the garage's full facility. A guy said, and I watch it because I come in that way every day. You're driving down, and sure enough, somebody on the left side is trying to race you to the bridge. So the suggestion the guy come up with, and he was just hit 2 days before, is take the left lane, shut it off early, and make it a left-hand lane. Left turns only.
Right.
But for some reason in this state, in this city, we don't like overhead signs. We always put them on the pole. It's like, you ever been up to, give you an example, Tops at 38th on the east side. There's a no left-hand turn lane.
Yeah.
Because there's a controlled light 1 block down.
Right.
Everybody still does it because they can't see the sign.
Right.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Are you talking about the bridge at 14th and State, not 19th? Or 14th and Parade?
Let me think now. Yeah, you're right. Not 19th. You're right.
It's between
14th. I was wrong.
between 14th and
Yeah, that's you, Patty, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why I say 19th all the time. Yeah, 14th. That is I can't tell you the number of people that, just come up on the left-hand side real quick.
Right, I agree with you, but it is at 14th.
Yeah, I don't know why. I apologize for saying 19th.
Okay.
But you're right, and that one there, if you drive it, I don't care the flashing lights, anything, they need to warn you further back
that's like the drag.
and shut off the road.
That's like the drag strip up by the zoo.
Yeah.
It's merge at your own, at your own peril.
You need anything else, Patty?
Nope, that's it.
Hey, thank you for listening. I apologize. I got the wrong street.
Okay, bye-bye.
But yeah, she's right. And you're right. That's the one I talk about. If PennDOT was willing to make it 4 lanes through Glenwood,
Yeah.
for whatever reason they didn't.
Right.
And now you got that. You watch people gear up from all the way from the YMCA.
From the top of the hill.
Yep.
And it comes. I do it. I'm guilty.
Yep.
I try to time it just right. And just zoop, and I'm bad about it.
It's the days I wish if I had nothing to lose and I couldn't be found guilty,
You're going to speed through
I
it?
get an armored vehicle.
You're going to go postal on people over there?
I mean, I don't mind they pass me, but, when they do it, do it in a controlled fashion.
I don't know why they only made that one lane.
I know.
Same with the big.
I know the reason, but I won't give it on the air.
I know it too, but now that you mention it, but I don't know who that person was. But man, did they squash that? I mean, that.
And the worst part was, John, they had told the people, and some people that were affected were okay with it.
Yeah.
That they were going to put. I think if they put 4 lanes in there, you would have had some speeding, but not as much. Because you wouldn't need to. But they want to be like Mario. I watch people up there like Mario Andretti. They got that S curve.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be to slow people down.
No.
Maybe that's what Italian school. But I watch the people go.
Yeah.
They cut the corners like they're on a Grand Prix circuit.
Yeah. When you see people, they got like 10 and 2. You're right. It's like Mario Andretti.
Yeah, they cut right through, like make it as straight as possible with their car.
I don't understand why. And the Bayfront Highway being only 1 lane. I mean, now we're going to just have, and when you come up, you need to have an exit at East Avenue.
Yeah.
Going up East Avenue. It's like, why wouldn't they do, when I saw that, but you could get off on Broad Street coming north, but you can't get off
That's why
going south.
we have.
And then they cut the bridge off, so you can't get off there at all.
But there is a project now. It's not part of the one that's dealing with McBride Viaduct. There's another project that we're working on with the state. The studies, the architecture is being done now. The work, the planning. There is going to be a complete interchange of Buffalo Road. Okay.
Are they going to get an off ramp there?
It's going to be a cloverleaf so you can get on and off.
Something needs to be done there.
The trouble is they're trying to figure out how, originally they were going to do it, and I think the reason why they didn't was because they had McBride. Okay? Yeah. So now they realize that they're going to put a cloverleaf in. During the public hearings that came out, that their computer modeling makes it look like it's going to work, but they don't have enough of a factor built in where, you know, everybody's got to hold their line just right, because it's going to be like a very slight cloverleaf, and there is going to be a component for what do you call foot traffic, and they're working that out.
They need to have something.
But there is going to be an interchange. That's a whole different. That's not part of the McBride project. That's a different study.
Because what happens, you know, with the viaduct closed, and with, you know, they expect kids to
Look
walk.
at Broad Street down there.
And they want them to walk the sidewalk alongside of the highway.
How about Broad Street? What a mess there, right? When you get off.
Well, did you see?
Right by Brandel's there.
Did you see the picture of it last night?
Water?
I might have fell apart. I don't know what was underneath there, but it looked like bricks.
We had a problem over at for years at the McDonald's there.
Well, it's still there.
Yeah, and they dug it up. That was the crazy thing was when McDonald's was in there. I mean, they tore down the old building and dug it up. I mean, everybody thought they fixed it.
Well, when the new McDonald's came, all that water flushed out of there, even in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
And it would roll right underneath
There's
the
something
bridge.
in there they don't know about.
There's something, they can't fix it, obviously. It's got to be something down
I mean,
within
they had
the
it.
water
I mean,
table.
it wasn't like you remember when they built the McDonald's? They went right.
Yeah, they went down.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something in the water table. I don't know if it's the Walmart part. Did it do that before Walmart was there?
The old timers tell me that was a combination dump yard. We had some little league fields there in the old days.
Oh, did they?
It was like, kind of like vacant land, but
When I was a kid, it was Hills. Hills and Super Duper were over there, and then it's changed every week.
before that though, it was like kids. Some kids I remember East Siders told me that was a little league field.
Yeah.
Then going way back, they had a dump there.
Just like we were just talking about a few minutes ago. They blacktop everything. Water's got nowhere to go.
And then one guy told me he remembers when the landfill was there, they found Indian burial mounds. That Carnegie Center from Pittsburgh came up.
I'll tell you, they didn't shut that thing down.
Yeah.
It'll be like Round Rock, or what was that place for the Indians?
Yeah, something like
In
that.
Dakota?
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, how you doing? You're talking about construction and roads and that. I was out Mill Creek the other day, Mill Fair, the bridge you're putting over the railroad tracks. That looks pretty nice out there. Have you been out there?
No, which one's that? The one on...
Is it Mill Fair?
Mill Fair?
Yeah, it probably is. I think that's where they're putting the roundabout too, isn't it? On the one end of Mill Fair?
No, on
Route 5.
6th Street, it's still, they just put in signals and curb cuts to nowhere.
Weren't they building a roundabout somewhere out
Route
there?
5.
Oh, Route 5?
But, it's down on Route 5 there. Yeah, it's going to be a three-way roundabout.
Isn't that a Mill Fair though, or not? Round 5 and...
Yeah, it's Mill Fair. Yeah. Yeah, because it crosses the railroad tracks there.
I got to go there when my dad's buried out there.
Yeah, so is my dad. My dad was one of the first ones in there. He's buried right outside the chapel there.
Wow, I know where you are. My dad's down the road there.
Yeah, but yeah, I was just wondering though. I knew they bought up all the properties on the east side of Mill Fair, but I see they put the bridge on the west side of Mill Fair. So now there's going to be, instead of a straight shot, you're going to have to go up, turn a little to the west, go up over the bridge and down, back. So it's not going to be a straight shot anymore. It's going to be a jog.
But it'll probably be safer though.
Kind of like they did out at the airport.
Yeah.
And now you don't have to worry about emergency equipment crossing railroad tracks when there's a train coming.
Yep. They did the same thing on Harbor Creek with the, what was that, Wall Bridge?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Iroquois Avenue?
The one alongside Perkins.
It's on where
It's out by Perkins.
where YMCA is.
Yeah, Perkins and YMCA.
It's a Pizza Hut there.
Yeah.
I think it is Walbridge.
I was surprised. The other day I was driving Erie. I had to go somewhere for a dedication. And I've lived there all my life and didn't realize it. But there's a stretch on the east side where there's no place to cross.
Oh, no.
Absolutely none. I mean, you're like, you got to keep driving for a long time.
Yeah, even on the west side there, if there's a train stopped on the tracks, you got to pretty much go all the way out the Peninsula Drive.
Yep.
So, yeah. But and then also up at the VA, What they're doing is they're just east of State Street there, where the entrance has been there forever.
Right, they're putting a light, right?
Yeah. Well, what they did is they moved they put in a new entrance farther east.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. I mean, right now it's blocked off because they're not ready to open it until they do. Because they're going to have to remove the boulevard there too if people are going to be able to turn.
That's why when we asked the traffic engineer, she said PennDOT is still working on all the paperwork about how much of the boulevard they're going to keep on 38th Street.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. 38th Street's not City Street.
But you know that hospital, they were going to move it out of Erie, and all of a sudden, they're building there now pretty good.
Going crazy up there. They're putting assisted living there. Like 28 units there.
Yeah, they're going to need a light there because that's growing too fast.
Oh yeah.
But that's it's good because for a while I remember Senator Specter, he fought hard to keep it here.
That creates jobs.
And
Oh yeah.
He when they wanted to move it,
they just built that 2-story parking garage there with room to build up.
I get lost in there now. I go up there for different things, and I said, man, I can't find my way around here like I used to.
Unfortunately, I'm there more than I would want to be, so I know my way around pretty good. So
I'm thinking about volunteering there. I enjoy going up there and talking.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to use it, but, so I mean, I love the guys that are up there. And
yeah.
I used to know a few of them on a regular basis.
You hear a lot of stories about VAs around the United States, but the one here in Erie is great. I get nothing but great service. I very seldom have to wait for an appointment. I mean, you have to be a good patient. You have to keep up on what's coming up next, what's wrong with you. You got to know to ask the right questions, and because they're busy, they're seeing more patients than probably 2 to 3 times the patients than a civilian doctor sees. But.
Yeah, this country, I always regret the fact that they should make that places like that should be their services expanded, and easier for veterans not to put up with bull crap,
Oh yeah. I mean, I've heard stories about people here in Erie waiting a long time for this and that, but like I said, knock on wood,
Hey, they didn't wait that long when they swore us in, did they?
I've been I've been a patient there since about 2009. I think it was January 2010 was the first time I was there, and I've had nothing but good service.
Well, thank you for your service too.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see you up there someday, but I am thinking. I said, if I get a little free time, I might go up there, and I know they're looking for drivers too.
Yeah.
You don't even know how to get around town. You just say.
Boards up here looking for drivers. Unfortunately, I can't drive like I used to. I would love to do that. But.
They go to Pittsburgh a lot. And a little story about Specter when he talked about. They told him, well, the guys in Erie can go to Pittsburgh. It's only 120 miles. So he brought him up here in February.
No, well, I'm enrolled in the Veterans Choice because I can't travel. Especially to drive 2 hours one way for a 10-minute doctor's appointment and turn around and drive back.
But I love Specter. He brought him up here in February.
Yeah.
And he lucked out, as luck would have it.
Especially when you got to drive through Edinburgh when they're getting 2 foot of snow an hour.
Well, that's what happened. The day he brought him up, he was praying, and God came through for him. There was like a big dump of snow. Yeah. These guys were like white-knuckled, and they said, well, maybe we are looking at this a little wrong now. Because, they didn't even get to Edinburgh, and they were like...
and not to change the subject, could you imagine if what we had last night was snow? If it was actually cold enough to snow?
Yeah.
I mean, they had 4.2 inches in Girard. I think 1 inch equals...
12 inches of snow, isn't it?
Yeah, 12 inches of snow, yeah.
It came, I'll tell you what...
It had 4 feet...
And that ain't lake effect snow, that's wet, heavy snow.
Yeah. I was hydroplaning, and the rain was coming down so fast.
I mean, that would have been 48 inches of snow.
Oh, God.
I mean, that would have been...
Hey, we go back a way, you and I. Remember the snowstorm in the 50s?
There's a wet, heavy snow. That ain't that light, fluffy lake effect snow.
Were you around in that snowstorm in the 50s, weren't you?
No. I was born in 63.
I was born...
You're not as young as you are, Kaz.
I remember going through that in the 50s, and the old-timers still talk about it. Like, you talk about getting hammered. We didn't have, like, front-wheel drives. didn't have the plows they do today.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to. I was in engineering school in Chicago, Great Lakes. '82, and I had a flight that flew from Chicago, Pittsburgh to Erie. But when I got Pittsburgh, it was snowed in, so my brother-in-law wound up driving down, picking me up. And boy, what a drive that was from Pittsburgh to Erie. And I only had one day here in Erie, so we drove up. We had Christmas. I had to turn around and drive back down because the Erie airport was still snowed in. That was Christmas of '82 or '83, and we had 3-4 foot of snow in a couple days.
Oh, you were a Navy guy then.
Yeah.
I saw in the news some of the voting polls have been changed in Erie County due to some flooding. So, I think the city's okay, but like Mill Creek and other.
Bell Valley's got to be
Bell Valley has moved. That's one of the ones.
I'm pretty sure Bell Valley's polls are right there at the fire.
Well, there you
it used to be if I remember right, they're on the
That's what I was talking
backside,
about.
I think.
That's in Carl Anderson.
I wonder if they sold the machines there today. I wonder if they even got ruined.
Well, they moved it up to the school.
They got poker machines there?
Voting machines.
Oh, voting machines, yeah.
Poker machines.
We need them.
They're allowed now. You can have poker machines anywhere. You can put them out in the lobby here if you want.
I hear your casino, though, isn't bringing in the money like it used to.
Well, there's only so much blood you can suck out of a rock.
Oh, yeah, and then we keep losing jobs.
I'll tell you what, I never been to it. I mean, I've been to it, but never gamble.
I hate that casino. First of all, I don't even really like it compared to other places.
You got to see the one in Bethlehem.
I mean, it can't be as bad as
I've
this.
never been there.
Oh, they get...
Speaking of businesses, you see that Dairy Queen there in West Erie Plaza is shutting down.
It is.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it is shut down.
At West Erie Plaza.
Yeah.
He was the longest independent franchise owner in Dairy Queen history. Over 60 years he had that business. And his kids had no desire to take it over. And
Was he on like 8th Street or?
West Erie Plaza, yeah, 8th Street there, right into West Erie Plaza.
Yeah, that's an old one. Holy crow.
Oh, yeah, like I said, 60 years. It's the longest Dairy Queen franchise in the Dairy Queen history, owned by a private person.
I wonder, just getting tired or nobody bought it, huh?
Yeah, he's retiring and kids didn't want to take it over. So, yeah, there was a big write-up in the Sunday paper yesterday.
That's a trouble. People tell me that, like we were talking about nunsies earlier, and I said, you can't force kids to take over the business of their parents, but...
Yeah, they want to sit on a computer and make money. They don't want to work 12, 16 hours a day.
And that's what it takes, Oh,
yeah. When you're self-employed, you got your own business. You don't realize.
Everybody wants to start at the top anymore. Nobody wants to work their way up.
Yep.
They want to start at the top.
Exactly. They want to get out of school and have that $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 home now as a starter home. So.
Two of my favorite people own the Red Hot restaurant down there on,
What's it, Gustopolis or what's it?
Yeah.
Somethinopolis.
Well, he's the guy that tried to shoot somebody one night that tried to rob him.
Oh, that's he pulled out the shotgun.
Yeah. But I know his wife because she worked a day shift and he worked a night.
Yeah. For a parade or East Ave?
And if you like this,
thinking about on a parade, right?
Yeah, and if you like this guy said, there's a family like one's coming, one's going, but you got to admire them because they put in a lot of hours.
Oh yeah,
we're out of time.
Oh.
But you know what? Today everybody wants to be, hire somebody to do the work. You sit back and then you wonder why it didn't turn out right.
Try and get a kid to mow your lawn.
They don't.
Yeah,
I can't get. When I was a kid, I'd shovel walks all day. I'd have pocket. Now they don't even come to your door.
I had a kid that was doing it, and then he quit on me.
I'll mow your lawn for $50.
Yeah,
they're nuts.
I can remember going out. You remember where Hunter's Inn was, right, sir?
Yeah.
My buddy and I, we used to go out and shovel walks. We had regulars, and then when we ran up our regular people, we'd pick up. That's how we got our money.
Yeah.
So I remember we saw dollar signs. We saw Doc Leone's Tavern, Hunter's Inn. And we went up there. It was a big job, and we figured this is going to be... Yeah. I think we were going to do it for $5. Think of that.
Yeah.
And
I remember we used to do our neighbors for gum. I mean, we knew she was poor, and it wasn't real big.
Well, we get a couple bucks for a sidewalk, maybe.
Yeah, $3 for a sidewalk.
We had to split it, though,
You did it in the 50s.
I had a neighbor that always made chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
Shoveling snow, mowing lawn.
Kaz shoveled in the 40s. I shoveled in
it was just 50s and 60s.
Oh, okay. 50s.
I'm not that bad.
I shoveled in the 70s. So that's what I could shovel.
Yeah, we used to carry a big coal shovel because that took up a lot of room. And then we had our chipper. That was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to chip the ice too. And people today, kids go, "I'm not going to chip the ice. That's
They don't even
extra."
shovel. Actually, I see more women out there shoveling. I think guys are just giving up shoveling in general.
Yeah, we'd pray for snow. We'd go, man,
We're lucky we didn't get snow last night.
I have a snow blower, but that snow's got to be deep. It's got to be a couple feet deep for it because it's almost as much work they got the snow blower as it is just shovel.
Yeah. My buddy and I had this game plan, a business model, we called it. We were going to save our money together and buy a snowblower. You're going to make it easy on ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We never made it past the Liberty Plaza, Woolworths, or Grant's.
Yeah.
We either wound up at the lunch counter or buying records, or
Yeah, right.
we just quite never made it past there.
When we were kids, I was the snow blower. Get out there and shovel to walk. I was the snow blower. We didn't have that when we were kids.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, that. No snow blowers when we were kids. No weed eaters.
Nope, your dad would hand you a shovel and he'd go,
Or,
did you get the walk shovel, Dad?
I'll tell you what the greatest invention in the world was.
What's that?
The hedge trimmers.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember doing this till you had blisters on your hands.
My grandfather was a master at that.
I got lilac bushes, so hedge trimmers don't work. I still got to hand trim them.
Oh, those hand trimmers were hell.
Yeah.
But the old timers knew how to use them.
Bar.
Oh, some of them still do. When you drive around, they are old school. They don't.
And my grandfather would jump all over me, but you're not doing it right.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can never do it right.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody does it better than them.
All right, well, your time's got to probably be up.
Yeah,
there.
we're
I just
up.
want to call, talk to you, let you know what's going on there at VA. Yeah, they're just moving the driveway farther east, and then they're going to put a traffic light in there. So.
That sounds like a better idea anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It gives you a little more room then between State Street and the entrance. Because at best, they used to have a sign there that said no left turn. And like you said, people turned anyway, so they took that sign down a couple years ago. So, but
Yep.
hey, you guys take care. Enjoy your Veterans Day coming up.
Yep. If you get a chance, I'm planning on marching in it. So.
Yeah. I usually stand along State Street there.
Yeah, you can say hello to me. I'll be with the Vietnam era guys.
Okay, you guys take care. Bye.
Okay.
Take care. Well, Kaz, I think we should just sign off telling everybody to vote
Yes.
tomorrow.
However you decide.
Yeah, I don't care who you vote for. Well, I kind of do, but don't not show up. People, this is important. This
I
is
said
our
last
future.
night, this is probably one of the key elections because
Yeah,
the groundwork has to be laid now.
you did a good speech last night.
Well, I meant it because the bricks have to be laid now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is where you start the house, you dig the foundation, lay the bricks,
Yeah,
and the fluff is going to come down the line.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of work to do. Anybody, and I'm not a negative person, but
Yeah.
it's we got a problem. You got to things got to turn around.
Well, a lot of one thing that a former state senator advice he gave us. He said it's better to stand for something than to complain about everything. And that's what's everybody is just complaining.
Well, all my life I used to read the paper, and I'd sit there and I'd get frustrated. And finally, I decided one time when I was younger, I ran for school board because you can't make changes sitting at home.
No.
And even if you try, you don't always win. But
I argue with on social media. I know you don't.
I used to, but you know what?
There's
the
some
trouble.
real clowns on.
People, you don't know who you're talking.
They don't know.
If they want to find me, okay.
Yeah.
Friday morning, Saturday morning, you can find me at the breakfast place, East
Yeah,
Side.
right.
Or you see me around town, I'll talk to you.
Right.
But social media, you say something on there, and then they say something back, and you don't even know who you're talking to. And
Let me try something. Mike, cue the music for 5 seconds. Cue the song, because we're going to end in 5 seconds, okay?
what are you going to do?
We're off the air, so
Oh.
we're gonna sign out. He's got to sign the music. 3, 2, 1.
Well, we got to thank Mike, so.
Mike is the man.
But Mike's the man. He's the engineer. Makes it
Ladies
happen.
and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show
No problem, Cass.
on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.